So, how do these scientific questions relate to questions of meaning and purpose in life? And I have to say, in general, evolutionary theory was not something that profoundly challenged my faith. I wasn't worried about the age of the Earth or the exact time and location of first humans. I didn't think my faith hinged on those questions. But there was a moment, and I remember it acutely, sitting in the chair in my office as I was absorbing, at the time was the emerging, or at least an emerging evolutionary view of the world, which was profoundly nihilistic, which argued not on the basis of philosophy, but on the basis of purported scientific observations, that there was no purpose to life or the history of life. There's no directionality, there are no progressive trends, and most importantly, there was no room for natural beneficence. Everything was dominated by struggle, competition, and warfare in nature. Everything was ultimately selfish. Words of a famous evolutionary biologist, George Williams, is natural selection is a mechanism for maximizing selfishness. So I'd say what this typified was a notion of evolutionary nihilism. No room for cooperation, purpose, goodness, or ultimately what most of us would consider genuine love. Now, how does that relate to my faith? I mean, that's not only a huge challenge to Christian faith, but I think it's a challenge, it's a burden to what most people either believe or hope reflects the ultimate truth of existence. For me, my response to that wasn't so much to go out and search for evidence that it was wrong. It wasn't to develop a new brand of creationism or even do a new form of natural theology to try to prove certain theological presuppositions. But it was rather this. It was based on both my own personal intuition and my faith that the notion of love was the ultimate purpose of human existence, and that in some sense, though imperfect, the natural world was good. It generated hypotheses. It generated hypotheses that were alternative hypotheses to the one that seemed dominant at the time. I have to point out, by the way, that a number of colleagues in ecology and evolutionary biology who don't share a Christian faith were also interested in the same questions. Some of them were interested because they had other commitments, Marxist commitments or feminist commitments, and some of them just had the intuition that this nihilistic view of the world was inadequate. So for the last 20 years of my life, I've been fascinated by these questions, and the ultimate question, how does it relate to faith? Well, faith was a springboard for asking questions, and I think it's been a fascinating journey, and over the last several decades, a view of the natural world, when looking through the lens of evolutionary theory, has changed profoundly to bring into focus a world in which, competition and struggle, but also natural beneficence has both have roles. And for me, the world looks like a good and not yet perfect place. That is, by nature alone, not yet perfect, but receptive to the perfect providence of God.